and welcome. I'm Millicent Walker. Tonight, federal government says over 100 Nigerians killed in South Africa in the last 2 years demands end to extrajudicial executions of citizens. Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Borno State condemns destruction of military-based foundation troubled community, vows not to give up. House of Representatives proposes fuel levy to fund road infrastructure. Minority Report opposes move, says it will lead to increase in petrol pump price. And at least 70,000 to be evacuated to enable diffusion of World War II bomb in the Greek city of Thessaloniki. And on business news tonight, Nigerian security operatives pledge support for private businesses.
And on sports news tonight, Kenya's Abraham Kiptum retains Lagos City Marathon title and goes home with a cash prize of $50,000.
We begin with a shocking revelation by the federal government that over 100 Nigerians have been executed in South Africa in the last 2 years. This came to the fore when the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora, Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Erawa, visited the South African High Commissioner to Nigeria to deliver the message that the Nigerian government wants this trend stopped. According to her, South African policemen are said to be responsible for the executions, most of which are believed to be extrajudicial. Meanwhile, the South African High Commissioner has given the assurance of his government's determination to ensure justice for the families of the victims.
While we appeal to Nigerians, wherever they are, to obey the laws of the land, we also are worried about extrajudicial killings anywhere in the world. In South Africa, we've lost about 116 Nigerians in the last 2 years, and in 2016 alone, about 20 were killed, and 63%, according to statistics, were extrajudicial killings, in particular by the South African police. So we hope that we continue to work on the good relationship between Nigeria and South Africa to continue to get stronger and better, and we hope that these distractions, will be avoided. And we've discussed with His Excellency as to how both countries can work together to achieve minimal crime.
We would like to condole with you about what happened to one of your citizens, Victor Nada. We hope that we will sit together and reflect on the matter and see as to what actually happened and how we together as time-tested partners can reflect and see what we do to take the matter forward and make sure that we bring this matter to an end that could be satisfactory to both of us, especially the people of Nigeria who have lost one of their loved ones.
The Borno State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has been reacting to the destruction of the foundation of a new military base which was laid in Kafanchan, southern Kaduna, a week ago. In a statement, the governor says the act confirms that claims that there are people who are bent on creating obstacles to the peace-building efforts of the state and the federal government. Explaining that he received the news with shock, Governor El-Rufai insists that his government will not be deterred in its efforts to stop what he describes as the senseless killings in southern Kaduna. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, and Governor El-Rufai had last week laid the foundation for the establishment of the battalion at Ongwanyashi area of Zagong, Kataf local government as a response to the incessant killings. The rebuilding of destroyed communities in Nigeria's northeast appears to be in full swing, and the United Nations has joined that effort to bring succor to the victims. This has been affirmed by the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations and Nigeria's Minister of Environment, Amina Mohammed, who says the United Nations has begun to partner with the Borno State government. Mrs. Mohammed was speaking with journalists after a tour of the project site in Bama local government area, one of the areas devastated by the insurgency.
This is what is left of Bama local government area of Borno State. This community is one of the areas occupied by the Boko Haram sect some months ago, but has now been liberated. That's why the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, is visiting the area alongside the Borno State Governor, Kashim Shettima, to strengthen the partnership between the two parties towards rebuilding the community. The Deputy UN Scribe believes that the partnership will help in the ongoing reconstruction of infrastructure and rehabilitation of victims of the attacks.
Well, I think you can see that the United Nations has already begun to bring its partnerships and efforts into Borno State. What we hope to see is much more coordination around the plan that the state and the country has for the rehabilitation. The day after conflict is very difficult. Post-conflict all around the world has been challenged, and Nigeria is not an exception. But we hope we can learn lessons, and we hope that the support that the United Nations can bring is also to leverage other countries to come and bring resources and expertise behind what the state government and the federal government would like to see happen in the state.
Mrs. Mohammed, who is also Nigeria's Minister of Environment, insists that Borno State will be articulating what its priorities are in terms of land degradation.
Together with the state, we'll look to see how we can now make this more sustainable and work hand in hand with them on the afforestation, which we hope will bring livelihoods, because we want to see agroforestry that is economic, not just about reclaiming the desert and replenishing Lake Chad.
At the end of the tour, the Deputy Secretary General assures the Governor that the United Nations will assist Borno and its neighboring states in agroforestry and harnessing the Lake Chad Basin.
Condemnation has continued to trail the treatment meted out to a physically challenged man by two men of the Nigerian army in Onitsha, Anambra State. The latest is coming from the representative of the General Officer commanding 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, Enugu, alongside the commandant of the 302 Artillery General Support Regiment, Onitsha. Addressing the media at the regiment where both soldiers are serving, they comforted the victim, Mr. Chijioke Uratu, giving the assurance that the erring soldiers will serve the required punishment.
The media has been awash with the brutal treatment two men of the Nigerian army gave a physically challenged man, Mr. Chijioke Uratu, at Egerton Streets in the market area of Onitsha, Anambra State, southeast Nigeria. That informed this invitation extended to the victim by the 302 Artillery Regiment, Onitsha. The meeting is one of compensation to the victim, as the top army officers present here condemn the unlawful action of the erring soldiers who have already been tried and sentenced to prison, in addition to reduction in their ranks by the Nigerian army.
Those who perpetrated this act have been identified, were arrested, were tried by the commanding Colonel Ayu Akpan here by my left, and because of the seriousness of the offense committed, they were referred to higher authority.
I want to state also that what happened on the 7th of February 2017 does not in any way represent the established procedures for which the Nigerian Army uses to approach issues that concerns our relationship with members of the public.
Before the end of the reconciliation meeting, Mr. Uratu is given some gifts as consolation.
When you remove army uniform, you want to enjoy in the night with your friend, like you can put down. Yes, if I let you see. Yeah, man. Hey, CJ.
From this point, the state government promises to take over the total welfare of the victim.
My governor is not in doubt of what the Nigerian Army will do as it concerns the disciplinary action to be taken against people that did this thing. He's not indicting you in any form. But he sent me here to see you people, to appreciate you people for the 3 days we have taken some measures, and to see his son here and the family members. In fact, he wants to take off from where people stop.
One may hope that uniformed men will be more civil in their dealings with members of the public.
And talking about the need for tolerance, the Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar III, has challenged Nigerian leaders to dwell more on the issues that bind the country rather than those that divide it. He was speaking at the closing ceremony of the 31st National Quranic Competition in Ilorin, Borno State, where the President of Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, also asked Muslims to live in harmony with others.
This is the closing ceremony of the 31st National Quranic Competition holding in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. And the special guest is the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, who challenged leaders in the country not to fan the embers of discord, but that of unity.
So we call on all of us to always preach peace, preach stability, preach peaceful coexistence, and preach love. Whatever religion we have in our minds, please preach peace and peaceful coexistence. Position goes to
In attendance is the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, who urged Muslim scholars to ensure that the true teachings contained in the Quran is taught and asked adherents to follow the teachings.
The knowledge of the Holy Book is one of the best ways to spread the words of the Almighty Allah. I am convinced that we all forget about religion and look at the rationality of the words contained in the Holy Books, our world will be better. The Holy Books of the two major religions, the Quran and the Bible, both teach morality, justice, equity, love, compassion, respect for elders, and all the great virtues. And with these we be at them, there will not be war, there will not be disease, crime and injustice.
The Kwara State Governor, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, also canvasses for the reading of the Quran by non-Muslims.
It is therefore important that we continue to encourage the recitation of the Quran beyond this competition, even among non-Muslims. In addition, we must leverage on emerging technologies, such as mobile devices, to ensure the Quran is more widely available and accessible. In so doing, we will not only provide a deeper understanding of the Quran and of course and its teachings among Muslims, but also educate non-Muslims about the dictates of the Holy Quran in a manner capable of redressing misconceptions about Islam and promoting harmony in the general population.
Participants from 33 states across the country took part in the one-week Quranic competition, with Zamfara State emerging the overall winner.
In part 2 after the break, if you drive on Nigerian roads, begin to prepare to pay for their maintenance. Find out when we return. Stay with us.